Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my personal channel. Welcome back to another live. It's the first time I've done this in a little while. I've got Craigo here as usual because we know we had to get him down for this conversation. Bro, how's your week been?
It was all right, I suppose. Weekend was a little bit dull, a little bit quiet, I suppose. But, we move. It's been all right, isn't it? It's been all
Yeah,
right.
repping the Inter Miami shirt as well.
Oh,
Prime
yeah, go on.
Higuain.
You know
Bro, I
it.
love it. Is
You
that the
know
home
it.
or the away kit?
This is the away one, yeah. This is the away one.
Yeah, that's a bit clean still. I'm not going to lie. I like it.
It looks even better with Higuain on the back as well, but I'm trying to get that one sorted.
Oh, yeah, no, Adidas is going to sort you out anyways. We
Yeah,
already
I got a
know.
plug. You know me. I got a plug.
Guys, everyone, smash a like button if you guys haven't done so already. Also, drop in your questions down below. The majority of this video, we are going to be talking about Frank Lampard, but we'll also talk about any other topics that you want to discuss. So leave those comments down in the comment section below and smash that like button if you guys haven't done so already. But yeah, let us talk about the last week for Chelsea because in some cases it's been good. In some cases it's just been stagnating a little bit. I think the Lampard out brigade has now had a lot more material to go with. I kind of understand the argument, but same way, I still think Frank Lampard should be given a bit of time. Just based on, we'll start with the Manchester United game. How was your thoughts on that?
I did a video of my channel and said about it's a good point, and I'll stand by that. I do think it is a good point. Given the circumstances of the game, were 3 points there to be taken? Yeah, I suppose. But I mean, how many times have these Lampard out haters, and all the people that don't like the way that we're going, moaned about, oh my God, we can see goals, it's ridiculous, we need to sign a new goalkeeper. Okay, well, Lampard's done that. How many times do they say that we need to keep more clean sheets against Man United and Sevilla? Lampard did that.
Exactly.
So I don't look, these games, they're not going to be thrillers half the time. Do you know what I mean? It's very, very rare that you get these, 3-0, 4-0 victories against Man United and, them against us and whatever. It happened last year at their place against us. Every time we play a top six side, we don't have to blow them out of the water. If we were to have taken a chance that we had, and we would have gone and won the game 1-0, then no one would be questioning it at all. Again, the flip side of it, yeah, maybe you could have been a little bit annoyed. Okay, that's fine. But the fact of the matter is that it wasn't the flip side of that. We did come away with a point. It's not the best case scenario in the world, but Man United will be more pissed off with a point than we will.
Exactly. I think both teams played defensive and both teams played not to lose. But if we're going to base it down to who was the more attacking side, it was Manchester United by a long shot. I don't think they dominated possession, but they definitely dominated the shots, movements on goal, probably possession in the final third as well. And yeah, I think Manchester United will be frustrated coming out of this match. I like this comment as well, saying last season we lose this game. Yeah, and I think that's also a very good reason for why Frank Lampard started with that back five, because we've struggled with Manchester United in recent games. And the only time we did beat them was when we played five at the back. So it made sense that we were going to play this sort of formation, especially if you take a look at the biggest issue for us throughout this season. It's not been Kepa attacks. It's not been any individual players, but it's been individual mistakes throughout the defense and in goal as well. And that's been the one thing that has held us back. You play with an extra defender, there is less mistakes in the defense as a result. Exactly. So in the grand scheme of things, I'm not even really too vexed about this result. I know people are saying, oh yeah, we used to mug off other clubs for celebrating draws. Nobody is celebrating draws. We're looking at this in the grand scheme of things. No one's happy that we drew 0-0 at Old Trafford. I'm just glad we didn't lose.
Yeah, completely agree, and that completely agree.
The people on Lampard out there, I'll be real, because we've said the argument's been spreading a lot over the last few weeks. I'm going to go over the couple reasons for it now, because I do want to try and play devil's advocate through this. Regardless of the loss of how we've been playing over the last two games with the 2 clean sheets, it is still 1 win in 5 for Frank Lampard. It is also 3 wins in his last 9. There isn't a real style of play that we're seeing in the squad, and I don't know if that's individuals not understanding the system, if it's Frank Lampard's tactics that he's telling the players to do, which is holding us back. Because if we use the Southampton game as an example, What was the midfield plan with the pressing and everything like that? Because Kante and Jorginho were just both pressing at the same time, leaving a massive space open in the midfield that Southampton just spent the whole second half just exposing and making wider.
Yeah, I think, you know, there is certain times where I can understand why the Lampard out haters and the Lampard out brigade, let's say, are annoyed. And Southampton is a good example of that. But, you know, again, having said that, you are right about Kante and Jorginho. I'm not a lover of the pivot myself. We did a video outside Stamford Bridge a little while ago saying that that's the two that should really be starting most weeks. Doesn't mean they have to start every week. I think they should probably start most weeks. Most weeks.
So what type of game would you not use them for?
Well, Man United.
I mean, like, what kind of system? Like, what kind of system would you put them in against? What kind of system would you put them in?
I like them. I like them playing in a almost a 4-2-3-1, I suppose. Let's call it that, or a 4-3-3 with one person slightly further ahead. I don't mind it in that. That's okay. That's what we played against Palace, and we did really well in. The problem with the Southampton game is we gave them the lifeline. Kai Havertz tried to run the ball out of defence. If he doesn't do that and he's allowed to go and do his attacking work, which is actually what we brought him for, then, you know, you can start to eradicate those errors. And again, that game, the Southampton game, there was a lot of individual errors. There were things that led to their goals. We didn't kill the game off, and that's fine. You know, we didn't kill it off. There's something we can do about that.
But we also lost that midfield battle. And that's why I think the pressure kept gaining on us. The big thing I was speaking about after the Southampton game was it individual mistakes, or did we keep putting pressure on ourselves to eventually create those individual mistakes? Because I keep speaking about that massive gap in the middle. All that means that we kept losing second balls. We kept losing, like, trying to transition from defense to attack. We kept losing the ball through there because our midfield was just all over the place. Yeah,
no, I completely agree. You know, you make these errors you make these opportunities for errors to happen. Again, Kai Havertz being back outside his own 18-yard box trying to dribble the ball out. That was something that was created by us. You know, let's be honest, if you try and lump the ball up the pitch, even if you know Southampton comes straight back at you, by the time they're coming straight back at you, you're defensively set. You're ready to go. You've got your banker 4-2, and then whoever it is that you want to do from the attackers, doing a little bit of defensive work here and there, maybe a few wide players and whatever. But it's okay to lump the ball long. You know, that's a little bit Sunday League, a little bit Brexit, fine. But it's okay to do that. And I think there's a few things that Chelsea do need to kind of work on. I think there's really good opportunities, and we said it before. I likened Kai Havertz to a potential of someone like Johan Cruyff, for how he used to drive the ball up the pitch. He used to, you know, appear from deep and just used to glide up the pitch. He can do that, but it's still about finding the right times to do that. It's not every single game. It's not every single time he gets the ball. So I do think you just need to be a little bit more defensively set, which is why, again, I'm happy with the back three against Man United. But I would also then, for that particular point, Kovacic and Kante probably for me would have been a preferred partnership at Man United. You know, hindsight's a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Hindsight's a little bit handy and whatever, but I probably would have gone for Kovacic, only for the reason that he can drive the ball up the pitch, which then allows Kante to do the defensive side that we need him to potentially do. You've got Zuma, who is, you know, playing on the left-hand side. Is he going to be that comfortable going and playing at left back if we get maybe caught out going forward? Probably not. But if you've then got Kante, who can run pretty much left, right, wherever you need to go, and let him do his defensive work, then maybe you've got a chance. With Jorginho, they're both trying to go up the pitch and move the ball really, really high and move it really, really well. But also that means he is incredibly slow at getting backwards. So by the time they've gone forward, you know, Marcus Rashford, Dan James in the first half wasn't exactly that effective, but a different day, it could be a different story. You know, they can drive the ball up. Bruno Fernandes, there was no one getting anywhere near him. In the Southampton game, I can't remember the guy's name who plays centre midfield, not Romeo, the other one.
Name's not striking out for me.
Drives the ball up the pitch, just moves it 10, 12 yards further forward, and Jorginho's pretty much out of the equation. Do you know what I mean? If he's in the equation, it's probably a long time after when he should be.
Here's the thing.
I still got you, Lewis.
No, I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Lewis?
Yo. Grego, what you said? Oh, don't tell me the internet's faded again.
Lewis.
That was Ward-Prowse. That's what they're saying. 1 sec. We'll drop you back out and back in. Is that working? We had you for a second. Okay. I'm gonna continue on. I'm gonna continue on while Craigo just sorts out his internet. Guys, let me know what your favorite pivot would be, because that was a question I was about to lead into next. Because I'm seeing like reasons why it would work and reasons why it wouldn't work for all three. I like Kovacic and Kante, but they're both ball progressors, and I feel like they both would leave the midfield two just massive, the defensive two massively exposed. Jorginho and Kovacic, again, it's a great pivot and their understanding is amazing, but I still don't really like what happens when they get to the final third as well. But then it leaves Jorginho and Kante, and that leaves Kante as a driver, and we've seen that over the last 2 or 3 games, that struggled to work. So I don't know. You lot let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I think Craigo will be back in a little bit of a second. Drop in your questions as well. We got a couple questions on Twitter that we're going to go into in a little bit. I just want to continue this Lampard conversation for a bit longer. Drop Kante Wednesday for rest and Jorginho and Kova. Yes, Kante needs to be dropped on Wednesday. For me, it's not even a rest thing. People got to be playing on ability and not form. And I love N'Golo Kante, but he's been off the last 3 games. I'm not saying he's finished or anything like that, because he's still got the most interceptions in the Premier League. He's still producing good stats. It's just the passing range over the last 3 games has just been absolutely poor. Craigo should be back in a little second. I don't know what happened, but it's just his in today, isn't it? I'm used to it. Wait, is he back? Yes, there he is.
I thought you went. I'm not even going to lie. I genuinely thought you dropped out. I was just rambling on.
Nah, I think it must have looked the same for both of us, honestly. But I was going to ask you, what is your preferred pivot then? Because there's the 3 pivots right now: Kante, Jorginho, Kante, Kovacic, Jorginho, Kovacic. All have their pros, all have their cons. Mm-hmm. What's your preferred back midfield too?
I ain't got one. It depends. Honestly, it depends on what game we're playing. There's none of those 3 for me are must starts. There's no one in that midfield 3 that is an absolute must start. They have to play week in, week out. I think we'll probably get onto it in a minute, but there's a fair bit of Kante stick going around at the moment. And I can kind of understand why that is the case. He's playing week in, week out. There's been a lot of people on Twitter say that he needs to be rested. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think he needs to be. I think he needs to come off just on ability, because I think he's dropped off the last 3 games. He's not poor. He's got the most interception in the league. He's not a finished player. He's just off the pace right now. I think he needs a rest.
How many mislaid passes did he have against Man United?
Was it 13?
Something like that. I can't remember. Honestly, I don't know off the top of my head what the actual number is, but there was a lot.
Yeah.
The same thing with Kai Havertz. There was a lot of misplaced passes.
Yeah, Kai Havertz ghosted that game as well.
Yeah, it's quite funny. My dad said he actually played better, but there we are. That's a different matter. That's a personal opinion of his. Okay. Yeah, Kai Havertz is a good one. Very quickly, he definitely played, well at times. But he needs to realise that this isn't the Bundesliga anymore. He needs to do more.
Yeah, he needs a bit more impact as well. I think we also need to stop playing him on the right side for a while. It weren't working. Second half, he had a bit more involvement coming in towards the middle. But from the right-hand side, he just wasn't having any impact on the game.
See, this is the thing. Is we all, I think everyone will agree with Lampard's formation, Lampard's wants, Lampard's needs, and the players that we've brought in. Our best from a formation is a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
We can all agree that. That's fine. If you're playing FIFA, you're playing a 4-2-3-1. That's just bottom line. You're playing a 4-3-3 maybe, but it's basically having one person playing attacking midfield, and that person will be Kai Havertz. We all know that, but we need to then get defensively set first before we can allow those forwards to go and do whatever it is that they want to do. So Kante is great in games, but if he's being asked to do a forward role, that's not where he's best. He is best in a defensive midfield unit. That's where he needs to be.
Here's the thing. I've always pushed Kante is a better ball progressor, and he plays like that. And he struggles to sit deep in that DM role.
Yeah.
I've always agreed that he has all the capabilities of a brilliant DM. But I just don't think up here where he's got the mentality for it, because you got to sit deep and you can't really roam around as much. And I do think there's a player that you can do that to. You just got to coach him to get to that level. We saw Lampard trying it towards the start of Project Restart, towards the end of the season, but it's kind of disappeared now. Would you want to see Kante in that lone DM role again, or were you not really too phased by it when we saw it in Restart?
I think it's like a fair few things. I think it's got its moments, but I don't think it's a week in, week out thing. I don't think Jorginho is a week in, week out player. That's why I'd probably sell him if given the opportunity. Kovacic, I like. I think you could get a hell of a lot worse than for 40 million quid than to keep him around. I think he can work in a number of different systems. But Kante playing as a lone DM could definitely work. I think he'd probably play better as a 2, like what happened with him and Matic, where one of them does the brute force work and the other one just passes it off. You know, the good thing about Matic is he could also win stuff in the air, which was, of course, great. You can go and do it with those two. You can go and knock yourself out kind of thing. But I feel Kante needs that person with him. And in the French squad, Matuidi at the World Cup, he was the one that was really going forward and being adventurous. And although Paul Pogba got forward, if they needed him to drop back and be that big physical presence in the middle of the park, he was it. He was the guy who's going to just go and flick a header on, you know, move it 5 yards further on than the geezer needs it to be. You win the ball back. And Chelsea haven't got that. There is no height in this Chelsea midfield from a defensive point of view. You know, also a good way to, you know, analyse it a little bit is corners. When we had corners at the weekend, did you genuinely think we were going to score from any one of them?
For our corners?
Yeah, from ours.
Nah, unless it's Zuma's head, I don't see anything.
Zuma is the only person I look at and go, he's going to score this. Even Thiago Silva, I don't look at it and think he's going to score a header. Might flick one onto the back post, but the only person who's going to have the original header to flick it on from is still Zuma. So if you mark Zuma out of the game, you're pretty much not set, but you're pretty much dealing with a corner quite well from an opposition point of view. You know, I think Chelsea. I did see a question on Twitter. I can't remember who it's from, so I apologise for that. But they were saying about Declan Rice and do we need him? Yes, we do. Because the guy can play. The guy's decent in a defensive role as well. He can go and drive the ball at the pitch. That's what Matic also was able to do for large chunks of his time at Chelsea. Just move it 20, 30 yards up the pitch, knock it off, and then realise I'm not the right person to go on from here. If you want me to have a shot from distance, hey, I'm chill with that. But actually going into the final third, am I the right person to be there? No. Same thing with Kante. Am I the right person to be there in the final third? No, he's not. So I'm quite chill with the whole Kante, Kovacic, Jorginho, which one of the ones I prefer. But we all do need to realise that you do have to have a presence elsewhere, one that could potentially appear in the box. And Declan Rice has got a history of scoring goals. Not an elite history, but just the odd one to pop one on target or to at least move the ball around.
You can have a pop shot or something. You can have a bit of faith in him to put it in.
Exactly, yeah. Where I look at Kante and go, it's either a scream or it's in the corner flag, and there's nothing in between.
One thing I wanted to hold back on that you were saying, you were talking about our aerial ability and corners and stuff, and did we ever really feel like we were going to score from it? This brings me on to another thing with Frank Lampard that he has got a lot of criticism for him. Me personally, I actually can't defend him on this. He is really poor and he does need to improve in his game management. One thing I noticed in that second half against Manchester United, we were making cross after cross after cross from Reece James and from Ben Chilwell. Why was the best target man in the league, the best aerial threat in our team by a mile, on the bench and he didn't even come on? Another Mateo Kovacic. This game was screaming for Mateo Kovacic because we could not deal with Manchester United's press. Kante was struggling. Jorginho was struggling. Mateo Kovacic is probably the most impressible midfielder in the league. How does it not make sense not to bring him onto the pitch? Same thing with the Sevilla match. Tammy and Hudson-Odoi in the 91st minute. Yeah. So what? Jog and get an extra game bonus. It don't make sense.
Yeah, I think what Frank's trying to do, and I'll try and defend him slightly, but I do agree. I do think there was possibilities for change there, and I have to say I don't think Tammy was the right person to bring on. I must be honest. I do think there was opportunities for change in both games. The Sevilla one, I understand a little bit more because there is such fine margins. If you drop points at Man United, you don't pick up a point at all. Are you going to have a chance to really catch up throughout the course of the season? Yeah, probably you are. You've got to may work a little bit harder, but you'll probably do it. In the Sevilla game, if we would have lost, it would have meant that we would have to have gone to Seville and won if we want to top the group. There's less room for a potential comeback, shall we say, of a drop point. So I can understand Lampard being a little bit more conservative in that game. Again, it is the Champions League. There is a group, it is a group. You play 6 games. That's it. That's it. It's not 38 of a season. It's 6 games. You can make up maybe if we hadn't picked up a point against Man United, you could make it up. Maybe Man United drop a point somewhere else and actually you've made up 2 points on them. Little things like that do happen, but it's rare that it happens in the Champions League. How often, really, do you see the favourites in a group go out into the Europa League or out the competition at all in the group stage?
Here's the thing, though. Are we happy with 2 games where we've just played not to lose? Like, I accept it for the Manchester United game with all the circumstances. Sevilla as well, because the difference with Sevilla and United, I was happy with the lineup for United. It made sense to me. The Sevilla game, it was like, okay, we're playing Mason Mount on the left again, and we've rested Hudson-Odoi. Defensive lineup I had no issues with, but it was going forward where I was just like, what are we doing? And then the substitutions just didn't help the case either. We had 5 substitutions, and we only used 3.
Yeah, I do agree with that. The Sevilla one, again, I think I don't want to rock the boat too much. I don't want to do anything stupid that's going to massively disrupt the game plan. That's what I think Frank's thinking of, more or less. So I understand, and yes, I probably would have made another sub. Maybe not the 2, but I definitely probably would have made another one. And I definitely probably would have got on Callum Hudson-Odoi and Tammy just a little bit earlier, just a little bit, not like half hour earlier. We're talking like 10 minutes or so. Because you do still have to worry about the point. You have to worry about the point. Because if you don't get it, then you've got to go to Seville and get 3 points. That's a big ask. That's a big, big ask. So I'm a little bit more accommodating for it for the Sevilla game. The Man United game, look, Mason Mount playing in that particular role and whatever when he came on did well. He did do well.
The game was calling for him as well.
He did do well. I think a lot of people, in terms of Mason Mount, they're really annoyed by him. And again, people know this. I am Mason Mount's biggest fan. I am an absolutely huge fan of him. And I will defend him, and I will defend him properly in this.
Good, he's Chelsea. Good.
Yeah, Mason Mount is proper Chelsea. He's a decent player. Is he being overplayed? Yes. Did he have a good season last year? Yes. Do we expect him to be able to do what he did last year, this year? A lot of people would say yes. They should be saying no. He has got he's got a lot of responsibility on his plate. And does he necessarily need it? Probably not. Let's be real. He probably doesn't need it, but he's got it. He has got it on his plate. He is a very good player. He can play in a multitude of different positions. Is he world class at those positions? No. No, he's not. But when you've got Ziyech out the team, someone's got to play that position. There's clearly something going on with Callum Hudson-Odoi that Frank Lampard isn't too keen on. It's something just because you like him, when he's your favourite player and he doesn't get in the squad, doesn't get in the team, doesn't make the bench, doesn't come on, whatever it is, there's something that Frank Lampard is seeing. I don't know what it is. You don't know what it is. So just let it happen. Let's see what happens. If Callum Hudson-Odoi 10 minutes earlier comes on against Sevilla and bangs in a winner, and then Frank Lampard leaves him out the squad again, then yeah, I'd probably argue that there's something wrong with that. Fine. But we are not yet seeing that opportunity. We banged on about Giroud just a second ago. One of the best target men in the Premier League, I'd probably argue, ever in the Premier League. Not necessarily only for Chelsea, but for Arsenal as well. Fantastic player. Didn't even get a sniff. Coming off the bench. And the game, again, it would have been perfect for him because Lindelof and Maguire were really, really comfortable playing against Werner. There was a little bit of a pace problem, but then all Man United did was just sit all the way back. The same thing we did. If Giroud very easy could have moved someone around, it'd have been fine. But Mason Mount, Callum Hudson-Odoi, that argument, oh, why is he playing there? Why is he doing this? Why is Mason Mount starting? Why does he make the bench? Blah, 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 blah. It's not an agenda thing. Just because you've got an agenda on Twitter doesn't mean everyone has an agenda. He is just using him for where he thinks he can use him. Let's be real here. Mason Mount is not the finished product. He is not the perfect person to play left midfield, right midfield, whatever. But the fact of the matter is, Ziyech is still injured. He still is coming back from a quite lengthy injury. Something, let's be honest, I didn't think it'd be that bad. Did you, at the Brighton game? I didn't think it would be that bad of an injury. Thought it might miss a couple of weeks. It's clearly more than that. Mason Mount is literally just doing a job for now. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. There is no pressure on him to go and be absolutely elite from Frank Lampard's point of view. There are Chelsea fans that are really, really on him for absolutely no reason whatsoever. He's going to come on. He's going to play a bit for us. Fine. He's going to start a few games. He's going to do a bit for us. Fine. He's 21 years of age. Chill the fuck out. Chill the fuck out, people.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't get what this agenda is against him. Yeah, fine. Lampard likes him. Gareth Southgate likes him as well. There's clearly something that someone sees. He works hard. He's going to give you a solid performance. Is it going to be the perfect performance every week? No. But we didn't pay 80 million quid for him like Kai Havertz. So we shouldn't be expecting it every single week. Just chill out, Chelsea fans. Fucking relax. It's all going to be fine. Just chill. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it.
That was a perfect speech. I couldn't really say any different. The only thing that I haven't really liked in terms of the way Mason Mount has been utilised is I really don't think he should have started that Sevilla game. Only because it is a bit of hindsight, but that Manchester United game was calling out for him. And if anything, he probably could have started that match. He was amazing in the Cup semi-final against United when we played the exact same formation. But we also had Willian on the other side pressing as well. So you had both of them doing that work. Now we have Havertz and Pulisic, who both don't do it to the same level. You could have had at least one of them in the team as well. It is a bit of hindsight, but I don't think he should have started that Sevilla game. That's the only thing where I think Lampard could have done better. But other than that, I understand why he's playing. I remember, I think it was Matt Law saying on Twitter a couple of days ago that the reason why he's been playing on the leftover Pulisic is because how Pulisic and Werner like to occupy the same space, and it'd be a bit of a mashup for them. Same way, it'd be the same bit of an issue with Ziyech and Kai Havertz because they both like occupying that right hand spot as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why. Sorry.
Don't die me, Lewis, please. That'd be a terrible life.
Yeah, what was I going to say? I just lost my train of thought now. Yeah, Frank Lampard's still trying to focus on trying to gel these four players together, which is why now I can turn the narrative the other way around. I still think Frank Lampard should be given some time as well. I've been holding off on this comment for a while. Second most chances created last season and second most expected goals behind Man City. Also, last season, last season, since August, only Manchester City have faced fewer shots than Chelsea have this season. Which begs the question again, is this a tactical problem? Is this individual mistakes? Or we're also going to throw a bit of Kepa tax into it as well, because we know that's been a huge problem too.
We've had two goalkeepers, Willy Caballero and Kepa, both not been good enough. Do you know what I mean? If Mendy is playing in goal against West Brom, I don't think we lose. If Mendy is playing I don't think we draw. I think if Mendy is playing in goal against Southampton, I don't think we draw either. I think we pick up 3 points and then we all bat an eyelid and it all goes away. Keepers are at fault. I'm not going to lie. You know, the Caballero one, I remember one distinctly, went right underneath him.
The West Brom game?
Yeah, I think it was that one. Went right underneath him.
The thing with Willy, it's been the same as Kepa. We brought him in February. There was no real change. We still kept conceding goals and there was still mistakes. The West Brom game, it was again where it was just West Brom didn't even pipe us in that first half. They had like 3 chances and scored 3 goals.
Exactly.
And I was sitting there like, what is the difference?
Exactly. It's they're both, well, for Chelsea, they're both backup goalkeepers. They are both backup goalkeepers. Mendy is the guy going forward. Frank Lampard even came out and said it. Mendy is the guy going
forward. Come on.
He is the guy going forward. So why are we worrying about Kepa? Why are we worrying about Willy? Because there will be times, unfortunately, when these guys do play a cup game here and there. I don't think Kepa's going to play much now. I think he's going to get loaned out. Someone will come and have a use for him. I think it's in the best interest of everyone involved if he doesn't play games, so he's less chance to make howlers, so people forget about it, if that makes sense. So I don't think he's going to be involved. Caballero will probably play a cup game here and there, stuff like that. If Mendy gets injured, and obviously we hope he doesn't, but if Mendy does get injured, Caballero's going in goal. because Kepa was given his chance and he fucked it.
As usual.
That's fact.
We were kept in for the longest and still just mistake after mistake. I don't even know if we loaned this guy, because the whole reason why we couldn't sell him is because that 5-year contract, 180k a week, which the more I say is just jarring. And also, Chelsea, the madmen themselves, think they could still recoup some of that 72 million fee. Like, you'd be lucky to get a third of that right now.
Yeah, you get 25 million, I reckon, depending from who it's from. Goalkeepers are a niche market, but again, a niche market requires a
goalkeeper. Not one of the worst save percentage in the league. I think the 4th worst save percentage in the whole of Europe last season.
But what about if you send him to a club that doesn't have chances put against them?
Bro, you need like the best defensive back line in the world. I mean, you're talking prime Jose Mourinho, park the bus, 11 men, literally a double-decker bus in front of the goal, and then I would sign Kepa.
Or you send him to a shit league.
Yeah. How bad is this league? Are we talking Sunday League?
Oh,
are we talking them small little goals?
I was going to say a comment then that I would have really, really regretted, but it would have been absolutely hilarious.
I know,
you know what I'm on about. You know what I'm on about.
I know I'm going to drop it anyway. Imperial Wharf, you already know. I don't care. I'm shameless like that.
The non-league team that plays in parks, right? Yeah.
Yeah, plays in the amateur league.
Yeah, no, look, Kepa's got to go. Fine, Kepa's got to go. That's chill. Mendy is the guy going forward. Fine. That solves that problem. Marcus Rashford had one big, glorious chance. Is it a little bit too big, a little bit of a poor effort? Is Mendy going to save it if it is a decent effort on target? Do you know what? Yeah, I think he is. Big up, Lee. What's going on, geez?
Yeah, big up. Congratulations on smashing Arsenal as well. Come on, boys.
Up the fucking Foxes.
Yeah, that Manchester United game, by the way, it just cemented the belief that Lampard could have actually achieved so much more with a semi-decent goalkeeper. I said it for the longest. Any sort of consistency, we aren't in a top 4 race last season. We aren't in a top 3 race last season. We're fighting Manchester City for 2nd place. It's been constant goalkeeping errors that have let us down. Even that stat with Manchester City being the only club that's faced fewer shots than us. It's been the Kepa tax. Mendy made 2 good saves.
Yeah.
None were world class. They were good, and maybe if you want to be even more critical, expected. But the thing is, we have so much Kepa PTSD. I saw Rashford make that first run through. I was like, yep, 1-0. Here we go. And the guy saved it. The second save as well. But this is what we like, basic keeping.
The one at the end of the game where Marcus Rashford was curling into the top corner, the far post. Again, I instantly went, well, this is it. We're losing this game here. I was fuming when he hit that. And of course, Mendy comes out, makes a probably, yes, expected save. But the most important thing is, and I'll keep banging on about it, Lewis, it is a good point in Man United because we kept a clean sheet. You do this every single week. All Werner's got to do, Havertz's got to do, any single player in the team, all they've got to do is put one in the back of the net. One. You keep clean sheets every week. All you've got to do is score once and you win games. That's fact. That's obvious. People are probably going, oh, yeah, thanks for that one here. Yeah, cheers. That's fact. That is what happens. If you can keep clean sheets, you keep yourselves in games. Don't matter if you win them 1-0, you get 3 points for it. You get 3 points for it. There will be games, of course, we'll go and smash them out of the water. There will be games where, of course, we do concede through small little things. Sometimes you do have worldies just going against you. Sometimes you get deflections that are going against you. That's football. That's life. But if you can keep those chances down to 1 or 2 a game, then you're fine. You are absolutely fine. But when you've got the likes of Caballero and Kepa that are conceding 3 goals in Premier League fixtures against, let's be real, mid-table sides. All of a sudden, you've got a problem, haven't you? All of a sudden, you've got a problem.
Yeah, but I also echo a lot of what you're saying is about top corners and screamers and stuff like that. Half the time, they were doing that against us last season because Kepa just couldn't reach those posts. And that's a serious problem when you have a goalkeeper that can't reach the near post, let alone the far post. Yeah.
Completely agree. Well, look, it's not the perfect situation with Kepa last year, but we did finish. We finished 4th. Do you know what I mean? We finished 4th, and we had a crap goalkeeping situation.
which only shows why I would give Frank Lampard time. No budget, Kante injured most of the season, no Eden Hazard, and we managed to make top 4 with Kepa in the net most of the season. Tell me this guy ain't a miracle worker.
Exactly.
He deserves some time at least. Right now, we've got 7 games into the season. And look at this Premier League season anyway, if we want to be real about it. This season is mad. Manchester City are dropping points left, right, and centre. Liverpool lost 7-2 to Aston Villa. United, who we just drew to, were lost 6-1 to Spurs at home. Look at the top of the table. I think Everton are leading. Liverpool are about. West Brom are about. Not West Brom, West Ham.
And
like,
also
the top 6 are mid-table right now.
We've played 2 of the top 4 sides last year.
Exactly as well. Liverpool, and we had to face them half the game with 10 men.
Exactly.
And that's the only way the game fell away from us. Lee Trappy, they dropped this question as well. How are Chelsea looking with all these players put together? Bro, we're getting by. But like the whole season, like this is the maddest season in Premier League history. I think it's the first time where we genuinely can't tell who could win it this season. I actually can't figure it out right now. Low-key, we could, if we manage to gel quickly enough, we could be in a little bit of a title race. I want to say it very quietly, but this season is such a mess. I don't know how much points it would take to win the Premier League this season. You could genuinely be looking at low 80s, high 70s or something like that.
Exactly. Do you remember what I said to you before, Lewis, about what is progression for Chelsea this year? You asked me before about where Chelsea need to finish. And I said, don't worry about finishing wherever. I said about finishing on points. So we finished on 66 last year. If we want to get better, a sign of us getting better is finishing with 70 points. Not a big improvement, but 70 points is still an improvement. We're now saying there, and I do agree with you, that we have no idea who's going to win this Premier League season. I think after a while it'll probably become a little bit more normal. But again, that the effects could already be done by the first half of the season. You could win the title. Genuinely, you could win the title with 79, 80, 85 points, somewhere in that neck of the woods. And I don't think it's even that bad. Do you know what I mean? If Chelsea keep ourselves progressing and all of a sudden we end up on 75, 80 points, could we be in a title race?
Maybe. I mean, that's the thing. I've got like little shades of Antonio Conte's first season where the first 6 or 7 games, we weren't really sure what we were doing. We were experimenting with a lot of different formations, a lot of different lineups. We didn't have anything really set in stone, and we didn't look the best. We had a couple decent games here and then, but we were still getting smacked by Liverpool, got smacked by Arsenal, and then things started to click. We found the formation that worked. We managed to get the team gelling together, and we were unstoppable. No one's saying Lampard is going to be Conte 2.0, but 7 games in, nothing is over yet. I'm not too worried. It's about the next month and a half is massive.
Yeah, completely agree. That, you know, Chelsea have had, unfortunately,
fans are a big effect. I will say that.
Yeah, completely agree with that one. Especially at Leicester, where you get the old clappers and all. Do you ever remember going up there on away day? So they get the old cardboard things they whack against their hand.
Yeah,
worst atmosphere in the world. Worst atmosphere. You're better at just doing it normally.
At least Leicester have a nice away end, but
I do like Leicester.
You lot don't even need the clappers.
Yeah, just be normal. You've been fine.
Yeah, I remember my mate's a Birmingham fan. They said they try give him the clappers once. They all started throwing it onto the pitch, and they got the game suspended by like 10-15 minutes.
Do you remember that England? I think was it Brazil game. England. It was either Brazil or Germany. I think it might have been Brazil. And I think it might have even been Neymar that was hit by a paper aeroplane.
Yeah, from the upper tier of Wembley.
Yeah, that was right in front of me. That was thrown. I think it was Brazil. And they all come from those shitty clappers.
What, you were upper tier as well?
Yeah, I was upper tier. I don't pay money.
Oh, that must have been a madness. No, upper tier's goated. I prefer that lower tier. Everyone says, it's better lower because the prices are high. No, it's not. You're just getting shaped for your price. I can see everything. I'm good.
Exactly. Unless you're like 40 rows up at the back, then yeah, you're right.
I was at the back for the Spurs 4-2. I saw everything.
Yeah.
That Matic goal couldn't look.
I was right in love with it. Fucking lovely that was. Absolutely lovely.
Yeah, for the first time in years, he actually took that hit, man. That whole season, he was vexing me. He never did it.
Yeah, no, look, I think with Chelsea that what we all need to consider is, you know, this season is mad. Yeah, fine. But let's not worry about what other people are doing. I mean, I saw Arsenal Fan TV. Be honest, it wasn't that good yesterday. I saw Arsenal Fan TV banging on about how they didn't have a good game, they didn't have a good this, they didn't have a good that, and it's been a terrible start to the season. You're 3 games in.
No, you know what? I want to hear it from them because they have the most Frank Lampard slander to dish out.
Yeah,
and
what
am I seeing? This Spanish Jose Mourinho, bruv. If Jose Mourinho came to the Emirates and played them sorts of tactics, they would have hounded him out. They would have been like, bun social distancing. We'll all be outside the Emirates breaking into this guy's car and everything. But Arteta's getting away with it same way just because he used to be Arsenal captain. I'm not hearing it. You see some of the passages of play. Sideways, back, sideways, sideways. Your most creative midfielder is David Luiz. You're mad.
Yeah, it is a bit nuts. Arsenal Fan TV, to be fair, yesterday saying about how they lost David Luiz now because he's injured and he was one of their most creative players is a little bit nuts. But there we are. We move. I mean, nothing we
say. It was creasing playing Fortnite.
Yeah, look, this season's nutty. Do you know what I mean? This season is going to be nutty. All we can do is focus on Chelsea. You know, we can focus on ourselves. Mendy is going to be better for Chelsea. He's going to be the long-term solution. And I'm absolutely fine with that. That's chill. Also seen someone say about me hating Sarri. I wasn't a fan of Sarri, Ball. That's fine. I can accept that. I'm just going to clear it up very quickly. I didn't like Kepa being brought in for 72 million quid. I didn't like Jorginho being brought in for stupid amounts of money. There was a few people I didn't like being added to this side as the Sarri team situation. Lampard's not doing that. He's not spending ridiculous amounts of money on players that will never quite live up to the hype. The only one is, say, a slight exception would be Kai Havertz. We spent a lot of money on him. That's fine. But again, if you actually look at it in 3 years' time and go, do you know what? He's actually not right for us. He's still played for a big enough side you can go and sell him on. Lampard, all we've got to do is make this team better. Hakim Ziyech or Ziyech, I never know how to say his name. I think is it Ziyech or Ziyech?
Someone correct us, but I think it's
Hakim. Old Hakim, you know, left winger or right
winger.
Hakim. You bring him in, 33 million quid, fine. You're not going to be able to move him on. If you are, you're going to only get maybe 10, 15 million for him. You're getting the prime years out of him now. That's what Frank's doing. Is Frank involved? Yes, he is. There has been many people that have said on a lot of transfers that Frank Lampard has talked to them personally. Whether it's in person, over the phone, whatever it is, he has spoken directly to that particular target. And it's worked. It's happened. And, you know, one thing I really want to kind of nail onto the point is this season is a bit nuts. If we can continue to progress and we can continue to do what we actually do, we're fine. We are absolutely fine. Just keep doing what we're doing. Let's look about past years. Let's look about Sarri and whatever. That weren't Sarri's team. He was never given enough time. But part of that reason is we didn't sack him. He left. He
got homesick.
Exactly. Lampard he's at home. Lampard cannot get homesick. He is at home.
Exactly.
It ain't going to happen. If Lampard is not the right person, and look, it might happen he isn't the right person for Chelsea. Only time will tell that. But you have to give him that time to allow it. I would have very happily given Sarri another year. I wouldn't have sacked him after 1 year after winning Europa League. I'd have seen what the progression was. But after that, I would have taken him out because I didn't want to go and spend ridiculous amounts of money on players that we didn't need. Lampard is not going to do that. We need a centre-half. Lampard's accepted that. We were linked with people in the summer. We didn't get him. We got Thiago Silva, who, to be fair, I mean, me and you can agree with this, Lewis. He's been decent so far, bar for the one step up against West Brom. He's been very decent.
Bro,
he's going to help Chelsea going forward. We bought Ben Chilwell, a guy that's going to be useful. We've got Reece James. We've got a good academy. We're going to make the most out of it. We're going to utilise it. But we're not going to go and spend ridiculous amounts of money on players like Kepa, players like Jorginho, who may not fit Lampard's system, where it was all about Sarri's system. It was all about this, all about that. We have to play this way, blah, 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 blah. And I think Frank's a bit more accepting of that. We've seen Lampard play a 3 at the back. We've seen Lampard play, you know, a really defensive 5. We've seen Lampard play 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, even play with false 9s at times as well. We've seen all this different variation. He wants players that are going to be able to change between multiple different formations. And it can even be during a game as well, where it was very predictable under Sarri. We're making strides with Lampard, getting better by ourselves, by bringing in players that can do it, in multiple different games, multiple different situations, multiple different formations. But the fact of the matter is that does take time. That really does take time. In the NFL, we've got a thing about a 3-year plan. You've got first year where you accept that you are crap and that you're not going to do anything. After that, you get draft picks, not going to go and explain it. But either way, you bring in good players. And in the second year, what you want to see is you want to see these really big developments happen. Ziyech or Ziyech. Ziyech?
Yeah.
Ziyech. Okay.
Cool.
You get these big name players in your second year in the NFL. That's where you really start to build your team. And then you look at where you're going. And then in year 3 is where you get the biggest development. That's where you get the real look at this is where the team's going to be going forward. So let's give Lampard this year. Let's absolutely give him this year, 1,000,000%. We have to finish top 4. That's still a goal. Of course, that's still a goal. And if we don't, we do have to ask questions, of course. Yes. But still, you give him this year. I give him a large chunk of next year as well. If you're not seeing improvement, fine, get rid of him. Fine. Because, that's 3-year plans. It's not working. But realistically, if you are looking for a 3-year plan for Chelsea, I think Lampard's spoken before about a 5-year plan. Am I right in that, Lewis?
I've heard 3, but if there's 5, I mean, that's
5 years, whatever. There is a plan in place. We were good last year. By the end of this year, we want to be better. And by the end of next year, we probably want to be looking towards our best. So don't worry that it's not all perfect now. Just ride it out. Go with the flow, see what happens. We're going to have fun with this Chelsea team. That's the most important thing.
Exactly. And I think with a lot of fans, there's a bit of impatience. But one thing I've noticed, I think it's fans of different managers not giving the other different managers the same level of patience. Like Kante had his fans, and his fans didn't give Sarri the same level of patience. Sarri had his fans, and they were all on a complete madness. They don't give Lampard the same amount of time or patience. So I think, do you think the fan base is a bit of the problem as well? Because we're all just sitting and bickering with each other.
For God's sake, yes, we are definitely part of the problem. I'll accept it. We are part of the problem. It's not necessarily we impact at games, because of course at the moment we can't go to games. But I remember under Sarri, again, I was definitely Sarri out completely. I was Sarri out. I remember at games going and singing "Fuck Sarri Ball." I was there. I was doing it. I'm not even going to lie. I was doing it. And I'll stand.
I wouldn't be offended by it. I'd expect it. You were out the whole time, innit?
Exactly. Do you know? But I never saw football that I liked to see. I never saw it. I saw 2 or 3 games very, very early on where people didn't know how to play against Chelsea. And after a while, it got very predictable. It got very, very predictable. Now, I've seen games with Lampard that I really, really like. I like seeing I'm like seeing this game plan, this movement. Again, really early doors, one of my favourite away days. You were there as well with me, Lewis. We went to Norwich.
Oh, yeah.
Great away day. Really early doors. Chelsea were very unproven. We had a laugh about it. We then look at the FA Cup game against Man United in the semi-final. A whole season pretty much gone by. Of course, a global pandemic in the middle of it. Brilliant game against Man United. Schooled them for large chunks of that. Brilliant. Absolutely superb. There's definitely times where Lampard has not been great, not been perfect. And, we're going to talk about that. And it has to be addressed. Again, this is just us giving our opinion. But there is a lot of fans that will assume that their opinion is absolutely gospel. And it's not. Even I know that. You know that. Our fans are not, our opinions aren't always correct. Exactly. By a long way, they're not always correct. But we're allowed to have them. We're allowed to have these opinions. You can do what you want with these opinions. But also as well, don't get on people's backs. Don't go and slander and hate and all this stuff. If I don't like something that's going on, I'll say I don't like that it's going on. I won't go and massively get on someone's back about it. I won't go and actually make a hate campaign against them on Twitter, because the press see this kind of stuff. The fans don't necessarily impact the manager. The fans, the players, how much fan media do they see? Probably not a great deal. How much of the mainstream media do they see? A lot. And the mainstream media see a lot of fan content. So they won't specifically go, Carefree Lewis G thinks that this is an absolute outrage. But they will say Chelsea fans are annoyed by that. And that's where the little kind of moments happen.
They'll just twist the narrative a little bit.
They twist the narrative. Same thing with stats. Stats twist narratives all the bloody time. Kante's made 20 interceptions in the league this year. Absolutely superb. But you're not telling me the stat that Kante actually let 13 passes go against Man United. Stats, everything can lie. Everything can be twisted. Just ride it out. Have your opinion. Say what it is and be done with it. Be absolutely done with it. Thank you very much. Have your opinion and then that's it. Just leave it there. If you don't like it, you can continue to not like it. You're entitled to it. But don't go absolutely mental about it. You get on a lot of big fan pages. A lot of them hiding behind, fake accounts or fake profiles and whatever. Giving your opinion. You get 30,000 people retweet it because they agree with it or whatever. All of a sudden, it happens week in. BBC pick it up. Oh, fan media say that this is not working. All right.
Yeah, just stick any clickbait title in there and we'll try and make it work.
That's where you impact the team. We've done broadcasting. We did it for 3 years as a uni course. We paid 30 grand to study the bloody subject. We know what we're on about.
Do not remind me of that massive hell. Oh, mate. Right, we'll drop this off with one final question because we've gone through most of the Twitter topics just through talking about Lampard in general. Top 4 predictions. Like, let's be real. We're probably going to be way off regardless of whoever we put out right now. But from what we've seen right now, who do you think is going to finish top 4?
I think Liverpool win the league again. I don't like it, but I think they win the league again. That would be my big bold statement and prediction. I think Chelsea are in it. I don't know where we finish, but I think Chelsea are in it. I think Tottenham are going to be a problem. I think they're going to come into a flow after a while. I think Arsenal are going to struggle only for the reason they've got Europa League again, and they still have never really been able to deal with Europa League and the league season at the same time, where Jose's kind of been there and done that. So I think he's going to deal with it a little bit better. And Man United is such an unknown quantity. It's going to be between Man United and Tottenham for 4th place, I reckon. But I think Man United just miss out, which means Man City get the other spot as well.
You feel Everton drop out then?
Yeah. Did you watch them yesterday against Southampton?
I didn't even watch the game, but I heard the result and I was just like, yep, this season.
They were very easy to play against. Very, very easy to play against.
Okay, and they had no changes to their lineup.
I mean, Richarlison was out for the suspension, but other than that, it wasn't drastic.
Okay, then that's very interesting.
They went 2-0 down and didn't have an answer for it. That was pretty much the bottom line.
I agree with you that I think Chelsea will be around the top 4. I don't think we'll be out of it. This based on the squad as well. I think as soon as this team gels up, all of this worry, all of these questions are all just going to disappear and fade. Who wins the title? Probably still Liverpool.
Yeah.
I don't think their defense isn't going to be nearly as solid as it was in previous years, but they'll still have enough.
They ain't winning it with 99 points. They are not winning it with 99 points.
Nah, it's just going to be a tight one, but I see Liverpool still taking it. The more I think about it is them. Manchester City as well. I mean, their season started a bit off, but I'm not going to lie. Just based on the quality that they have in their squad, they should not be dropping out of the top 4. I don't care about the... Go on.
Sorry, just seeing that comment about Everton having a red card. They were already 2-0 down when the red card came.
Yeah, the Luca Dean Reds, right?
Yeah, I had him in bloody fantasy team as well. Shocking week I had.
Spurs, I put Spurs down as top 4 initially, but I'm really thinking Jose at some point is going to have to decide whether he wants to go for the Europa League or if he wants to go for top 4. Because I think the same thing of Arsenal I could echo for Tottenham. I don't know how they're going to manage Thursday through Sunday fixtures. They've brought in a couple decent transfers now, but I still think it's the case if they have 1 or 2 injuries in the wrong place, I think that team entirely falls apart unless Jose is perfectly happy scraping draws and maybe 1-0 wins, which he is happy doing that, but he's going to have a lot less firepower to be able to do it with. So I'm not sure. Maybe I hit them for 4th place. I don't think Manchester United are going to hit top 4.
Do you know?
Maybe. I don't think United hit top 4. I don't think
that concrete. Not like they might nick it. It is that concrete. They're not going to make it.
I don't think they make it. I think they need a Jadon Sancho to have the same level of competitive nature that they had from last season, if not better. And now every other team's improved around them. So I don't see how they do it. Maybe Leicester hit 4th place, or maybe Tottenham. But I know it's going to be Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea. Oh, maybe Everton as well. I've been saying Everton. I forgot about them as well. But yeah, I think Everton, Tottenham, Manchester United fighting for 4th place. I don't see Arsenal involved. I can't lie.
Well, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I think Leicester are going to be a decent side, and I think I do think that Leicester and Everton both will make Europa League. It's just a case of how.
Yeah,
I tell you what I do see.
Go on.
I see a surprise winner of the FA Cup.
Really?
Yeah, I see a surprise winner of the FA Cup.
With lack of fans and the way the season's been going, I could see a lot more shocks in the FA Cup. So the more I think about that too, I can understand that a little bit more.
And I think a lot of teams, Man City, us, Arsenal, we were all accepting that after a while there was only so much we could do. We are both Lampard in.
Yeah, I did want to just add that part.
We both accepted. Well, a lot of teams accepted that the FA Cup was their only real chance of winning a piece of silverware because Liverpool was so far ahead. But with Chelsea, with Manchester City, with Manchester United, even Spurs, Arsenal, all these sides, look, we're 6 games in, 7 games in, whatever it is. Anything can happen, of course. But I do have a feeling that after a while, it will get to around about March, April time, maybe into May, and people will still be looking at it going, we could genuinely win the league here, especially April. I think there's a lot of teams that are going to look at it and go, we can genuinely win the league. And they may start to play not weakened sides, but they might start to make weakening substitutions because they have to think about a league game here or there in the next coming days. So I have a feeling that Leicester, Everton are going to be big favourites for the FA Cup. And depending on how the league season's going, again, unfortunately, I reckon Arsenal might be as well.
I mean, the way you just said that out, this is seriously, I've said it so many times, this is going to be the maddest Premier League season. I can't imagine this running. It's going to look like one of those League One races where half the league could still go down, half the league could still go into playoffs. This season's going to be mad. Someone else also said Leicester City are in Europa League too. So now I think it's going to be Everton that will take 4th place. So at least that sorted out my top 4 predictions.
Fair enough.
But yeah, Ian, any other final thoughts before we wrap this up?
Nothing more, really. Make sure you subscribe to Craigo28 Football. I've got a video dropping in 2 minutes.
Yeah. So everyone, like and subscribe and check that out. If anything, I am.
It might be 32 minutes. It might be 32 minutes actually. I might push it back. 32 minutes.
Oh yeah. If you do that, I am just going to leave a link to Craigo's channel in the description below right now. So when YouTube Studio loads.
Very quickly, someone's saying about Allegri as well. We can bring him in because he's got experience. He's coached at one big club.
Yeah, just the Juventus one, right? And to be honest, over the last 2 seasons, they wanted him out. They were saying this football was a bit poor there as well.
He's played at one big club. Let's not hype him up. He's a good manager, of course, clearly. But, I mean, he's been out of football for a few years now. Why has no one else come and taken him?
Yes, so guys, the link to Craigo28 Football is now down in the comment section below. Actually, no, I left it in the description. So check that one out. Craigo, again, thank you for coming on, bro. Massively appreciate it.
Love doing this with you.
And yeah, guys, smash that like button if you guys haven't done so already. And let's just hope we beat Krasnodar. Because seriously, if we lose to Krasnodar, more questions are popping up.
Oh, bro, we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Bro, this season is a madness. I wouldn't expect anything different.
We'll be fine.
I hope so. I need your optimism, honestly. But guys, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.